Good morning. Let's try it again. Thank y'all for being here. The media, thank you for being here as we begin this press conference this morning. My name is Davey Hyatt. I'm the lead sponsor of this bill that we're going to pre-file tomorrow in Columbia to try to stop this unconstitutional vaccine mandate. I want to thank all the media for being here. I know I've heard from some of you last night and early this morning wanting some conversation before we got here, but we felt like it was important that we do it all at one time. And I will assure you that we'll be made available the minute this press conference is over. Any person standing behind me is available for any comments or questions you may have of them, and they'll stay as long as you need. So thank you for being here. I don't normally do this, and normally this may take a few minutes, but I want to recognize every single person that's standing behind me, because this is not my bill. I just happen to be the lead sponsor. We've been working on this bill for over 5 or 6 weeks, and it's changed just about every 3 or 4 days because of what's going on at the federal level. When something changes, we have to change at the state level. So we've been through about 7 or 8 versions of this thing till we got to where last night we finally got a version that we were happy with, and we're going to pre-file that bill in the morning. But I want to recognize those that are standing behind me. Right now we have 43 co-sponsors on this bill. And that's I will tell you there's probably going to be some more. I've heard from some more this morning who are just now getting the word down on the coast that it's going to be pre-filed, and we're expecting, our goal was 50 by this morning. We believe we'll have 50 by Friday, probably more than that.
Yes. Better late than never.
I will tell you that this group behind me, many in this group behind me, we have many conversations with our governor. We actually spent about 2 hours in his office several weeks ago going over some parts of this bill. He is fully supportive of this bill. He says, you get it to my desk and I'll sign it immediately.
Yes.
I've had many conversations with the Speaker of the House. He said he fully supports this bill. He will sign it to a committee tomorrow. He tells me it'll be fast-tracked to the floor of the House of Representatives.
Yes.
And I don't stand here today to tell you that it's my idea or I'm going to take ownership in this thing. This is for the people of South Carolina who want to work hard, who want to go to their job, who want to come home, who want to raise their families, and who want to be left the hell alone.
Yes.
And so I'm going to recognize these people behind me because they're just as important as I am. And I want to recognize them. We have, from Washington, we have Congressman William Timmons. William, where are you? And he's doing all he can at the federal level along with Jeff Duncan and Tim Scott to help us fight that battle in Washington. And in the Senate, this bill is going to be pre-filed. We pre-file in the House tomorrow. That's our first pre-filing day. The Senate doesn't have their first pre-filing day until December. But I've been assured by Senator, he used to be Representative Loftus, now he's Senator Loftus. I've been assured by Senator Loftus and the other co-sponsors of the bill that on the very first day they're going to pre-file it in the Senate as well.
Yes.
Senator Dwight Loftus is here with us. Senator Tom Corbin is with us. I'll also tell you that Senator Corbin has basically brought several bills through the Senate and into the House, particularly S-177 that's sitting in the Senate, in the House now. And hopefully we will use that as a tool to fight some of this as well. My senator, Senator Rex Rice. And there's others that couldn't be with us today. Now my House colleagues who are standing with me today, and this is just the ones that could be here. There's many more that are on board with us. One of my dear friends, Representative Bill Chumlin. Representative Mike Burns. The guy that got me all messed up in this, Representative Patrick Haddon. Representative Roger Nutt. Representative Bobby Cox. Representative Stephen Long. Representative Josiah Magnuson. Representative Stuart Jones. Representative Melissa Remus. Representative Ashley Trampin. Representative Adam Morgan. Representative Cal Forrest, this guy here. Representative Gary Smith, he made it yet? I know he's on his way. He texted me. He'll be here in just a minute. Representative Gary Smith. Representative Vic Dabney, he's here. Representative Mark Willis, and I think he's on his way as well. He said he'd be here in just a minute too. So Mark Willis will be joining us in just a minute. Did I leave anybody else that came in at the last minute? If I did, I apologize. You're very important. Thank y'all all for being here. This is just part of the group. Like I said, we got 43 co-sponsors, and these are the folks that kind of live in the upstate. It's a little bit easier to get here. So.
Kershaw County.
Yeah. There's several other people that aren't elected officials that I want to thank. When you start this process, you really have to just grind and ask for help. And I'm not the smartest guy in the world when it comes to knowing all the therefores and the whereases and all that kind of stuff you put in bills. But there's several folks that we really relied on. Some of them are in my staff in Columbia. They couldn't be here. But I'm gonna call Ellie Hayes by name because she, every time I'd answer the phone, she'd go, "What do you want to change now?" But she did a great job. Jennifer Black's here somewhere. Jennifer, where are you? Jennifer, thank you. Thank you. We couldn't have done this without you. You've worked tremendous in this, and thank you very much. We all know why we're here.
People are such
Because the federal government's overstepped their bounds. You wouldn't be here. You could be finding something else to do than standing out here on a Tuesday morning on a beautiful day. But we're here because it's got to stop. If it's a vaccine today and they get away with it, what is it tomorrow? So we've got to draw a line in the sand, and that's what we plan on doing tomorrow when we pre-file this bill. I've got two people here from the private sector that we have asked to speak this morning to kind of tell you what's going to happen. They're going to tell you their story. Is what happens if this mandate goes into effect. The first one is Matt Burgess. Matt, he'll come up here. Matt is an employee of a large company in South Carolina, and Matt's going to share in just a short period of time what could possibly happen to him and his family. Matt, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Representative. When I was asked to speak today, I must admit I had no idea what I was going to say. I've never done anything like this, so it's very foreign to me. But the subject here is one that I think we've got to understand, that we can no longer sit on the sidelines. We can no longer stay passive. Everyone else on the other side has had the opportunity and ability to stay so active when we've had to stay providing for our families, working hard every day to try to give our children the future that we experienced growing up, the kind of America that we had. And so as I thought about this over the last couple of days, I could get up here and I could say how that I've given over 2.5 decades to a company, maybe arguably the best years of my life, who's very willing to usher me right out the door. And I'm also a single income family. My wife stays at home. I've got 3 children. I have one on the way. So this subject is very near and dear to my heart. And if they choose to go through with this, and it goes through unimpeded at all, then I'm facing not a decision on what I'll do, but how I'll provide for my family. And after giving that to this company, I don't feel that that's something anyone should have to do. And I'm by far not the only person in South Carolina. There's no doubt tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, that will be affected the same way. But as I was thinking about what I was going to say, I lost my brother 2 days ago. In fact, he died to COVID. He fought for 8 weeks in the hospital, and I lost him Sunday night. And so my thought process has changed a little bit. My brother would no doubt be standing right here today if he were still alive. My brother served with honor in the Army for this country, and he very much believed in what we're here today trying to do. He believed in freedom, he believed in liberties, and he held very much 3 rights that our Creator, I believe, gave us, and that was life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's right. I believe our founding fathers had a lot to say about that. In fact, it wasn't the government who gave us those rights. The government was tasked with protecting those rights. And I believe that if we have any chance whatsoever of our children, our grandchildren, experiencing the same America that we were fortunate enough and blessed enough to grow up in, that we're going to have to start today. And I'm calling on everyone across the state. We need to stand up. We need to get involved. You need to support these men that are behind us. In closing, I'm going to say this. In reference to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, what good is life without freedom? That's right. And what liberty do we have if we can't make the choices for our own personal lives and how we live them and what we choose to do with ourselves? That's right. And then how can we pursue happiness? How can our children benefit from us pursuing happiness if Washington and the people that are completely antithetical to our beliefs and stand in opposition to what we believe take away our very right to work and provide and to give our children that happiness that we're pursuing?
Thank you, man. I appreciate that very much. The next individual that we have is, I'll let you tell them what you do. Lance, come forward and speak. He's a business owner in South Carolina. Lance, thank you for being here.
Good morning. First, I'm gonna have to ask you. I'm gonna apologize because it's kind of an emotional thing for me here. I'm a business owner in South Carolina. I started from zero. Okay. First, I'm seeing everything that we've worked hard is on the line for us right now. Okay. I have hundreds of employees right now that are threatening to walk away from the job, which will close our doors. I mean, the minute they walk out, we're done. We're nobody without our employees. So I'm here to fight for them today, for their freedom. I'm here to fight for all of you guys here. And I'm here to fight for my grandparents and my parents, okay? My grandparents and grandparents and parents, they fled communist Cuba for this exact type of thing that's happening here. What you guys are seeing here is not an exaggeration to say that this is how it started, okay? And if we don't stand up and we don't fight for what's happening right now, we'll never be able to turn back. Once we lose this freedom, we'll never get it back. So I'm here, I'm fighting for them. I'm fighting because, you know, they came to this country and they never looked back. They said, we're going to the greatest country in the world, okay? And they left everything behind. They left their loved ones. They left everything they knew. They didn't even know the language, but they knew that they came to the greatest country in the world. And I still believe this is the greatest country in the world, but that's in jeopardy right now. And we have to fight. And, you know, I'm here for them. Again, they left that behind, and they told us that we fly our flag, and they taught us to love this country, and everything that I love about this country is in jeopardy. And again, I'm not only here just to fight for us, but for my people, for everybody that's employed in the Tropical Grill, and all the small businesses out there. I mean, it's been an incredibly tough time. COVID has been incredibly tough for all of us, and if we allow this to come through, I guarantee you that there's going to be tens of thousands of small businesses that are going to close. That's just simple as that. So, thank you guys for your time. I appreciate it.
On your way home, stop and eat at Tropical Grill. You didn't have to pay for that advertisement either. Not yet, no. So let's talk a little bit about the bill. We don't want to stay out here all day long. Let's talk about the bill that we're going to pre-file tomorrow. And this is what we're going to give you: 5 things that it does and 4 things that it does not. There's been a little bit of misunderstanding out there because, like I said, there's been 4 or 5 versions that might have got out, unexpectedly. But the version that we're going to pre-file tomorrow does these things right here. It protects persons from being negatively affected by not providing their vaccination status to an employer or in a public accommodation setting. This includes health care facilities. Employees of any health care facility will still be protected from losing their job for not providing vaccine status or if that status is voluntarily given. However, health care facilities will not be considered acting discriminatory if an employee is required to be subject to a reasonable accommodation should the employee not provide status or not have a vaccine as required by the employer.
What about students?
Number 3, provides an avenue to file complaints through the existing Human Affairs Commission. Number 4, it exempts public schools from this, so to be clear that typical vaccine records can be obtained using the existing mechanisms which allows of religious and medical exemptions in all schools. So it exempts the schools. It will prevent any EUA or vaccine undergoing a clinical trial from being mandated in South Carolina.
Yeah.
And what it does not do, it does not exempt private schools and daycares from this act. Why? Because in South Carolina, a private school or daycare is permitted to refuse entry and not accept religious or medical exemptions. For this reason, they should be protected from this act. Currently, public schools are deemed to be required to accept due to federal law protection of religious freedom. This does not protect military personnel in South Carolina in their employment setting. That is a federal issue. We cannot. Number 3, it does not protect federal employees in their employment setting for the same reason they cannot protect the military.
It can't.
It does not prevent a company from mandating a vaccine. It just takes away the mechanism of enforcement, which is the vaccine or immunity status passport. In other words, if a company decides they're going to mandate that vaccine, they don't have any way of enforcing it. They can't ask you they can't ask you if you've had that vaccine or not. They can go ahead and enforce all they want, but they don't have any way of enforcing it or doing anything that way. So that's what it does and does not do. I will take any questions from the media that you have. Any of these folks will be able to answer. And again, I will tell you that at the end of this press conference, any of these people behind me will be made available to you to answer any questions that they may have. And again, thank you. If any members of the media have any questions, we'll answer them at this time. Yes, sir.
Corey Allen, the Overton Report. What type of pushback do you expect on this bill, and will this pre-file take effect before January? A lot of people are about to lose their jobs in the next 30, 60 days. Is there any kind of stopgap that you're working on in the meantime?
So his question was, what kind of pushback do we expect, and will this take effect before we go back into session in January? No, it will not take effect before we go to January because
Yeah.
the House and the Senate is not in session right now.
Is there a stopgap?
We are working at every possible.
Hey, let the man answer. Let the man answer.
We are working every possible scenario to make sure to get this enforced if we can before we go back in January. There's several options that we have, and we are working on that. To answer the question about mandates, to answer the question about pushback, this is taken from the Montana bill, and so far they've had no pushback in Montana. It's stood up all legal challenges.
Okay.
Any more media?
Hey, we the people have questions.
Is there any talk of a special session?
We are in the middle of redistricting right now. Redistricting is required. Redistricting is required every 10 years by the federal government.
It's called fiddling while Rome is burning.
And we have to do redistricting by law.
Special
Because
session.
if we don't do redistricting, the federal government will draw the line. This concludes our press conference. Thank you for coming. We ask you if you need a special session, if you want a special session to be called to reconvene, you need to get in touch with the governor and the Speaker of the House.
You represent us!
Ladies and gentlemen, I can answer that question. I can answer that question real quick.
Let Stewart speak a second.
Hear me out for a
Let
second.
Stewart speak.
All right. We do have an opportunity for a special session. We absolutely do. Call your legislators, call the senator, keep calling them, call the governor. We've got to get this, let me say this, we've got to get the Speaker of the House, the President of the Senate have to call us into session. We will have an opportunity to pass this bill before. We will have an opportunity to pass this bill before January. We need to pass this bill immediately. You got to keep the pressure on the governor, the speaker, and the president of the Senate. Listen, Second Corinthians tells us that where there's the Spirit of the Lord, there is liberty. That is the liberty we are fighting for, folks.
Yes.
We are not going to allow Joe Biden, we're not going to allow anybody to mandate
Stewart, with all due respect, all these people are going to be fired. You heard me?
Yes, we've got to get a special session to stop it. We've got to get a special session to stop it.
We've got 15
That's what
days.
we're calling for. That's exactly what we're calling for.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me speak. So, those who are standing up here today have been calling for a special session since September 5th, when this mandate was announced. The legislature, the problem in South Carolina law, which we've worked on this last session, but unfortunately we're not able to pass the bill through the Senate, okay? But South Carolina does not have a mechanism for the legislature as a body to call itself into session. That is, we have to have the Speaker of the House and the President of the Senate call us into session. If the governor declared a state of emergency, he could call us into session. We've requested that of him. We've talked to him. We've urged him on the importance of this. So far, he has not done that. So The people up here are the ones that are fighting for you. We are demanding it. We have demanded it across the state. We will continue to do that. We have to have a special session. But the reality is, so far, there hasn't been one. So, the answer is the Speaker of the House and the President of the Senate can do it right now. They could. Logistically, it's difficult to do it, but they could. As Stuart has pointed out, there's ways to do it. If they would sit down with us, we could explain the plan that we have to get it done, okay? But we are not able to call the House and the Senate into session. You need to call the people who aren't here to get them on board in defending your freedom. It is our job, and we have been fighting for you. But there are some people that don't value your freedom as much as they value their positions and their, funding and that sort of thing.
Put pressure on
I'm naming two right now. I'm naming two: the Speaker of the House, Jay Lucas, and the President of the Senate, Harvey Peeler. You need to keep the pressure on them. They are willing to work with us, but you have to continue to tell them the need for this legislation. Okay? You cannot tell us that we're not fighting for you, because we are. You need to talk to the people that aren't here that are not fighting for you.
If you want this done, call the state senator, call your state legislator, and demand Jay Lucas. Call Jay Lucas. Call the governor's office. Demand it. That's what it takes. The people have the power. Call the President of the Senate. Call Jay Lucas. Call the governor. That's it. Call those people. Email after email after email.